Hi, this is Dr. Joel, and welcome to another week of a fun-filled week, let's say, of microeconomics. Week two is an interesting week for me. It's one of those things that I guess when I was learning about economics, in particular microeconomics, I never really thought about elasticity. And so let's think about that for a while. We all pretty much get the idea that if a price is higher and goes lower, then there'll probably in the aggregate be more demand. That makes sense. I mean, if I'm at if collectively, if there are people that go to the grocery store, and typically in our neck of the woods in central Kansas, Dillon's, if you go to the grocery store and you say, well, milk is $5 a gallon, that's a little too much. I really don't want to buy that. There are still some people that would buy that because they have a need for milk. As the price goes down, then more people might say, well, I like milk, so I'm going to go ahead and get that. So fundamentally, I think the downward slope of the demand curve makes sense. But we have to understand from an elasticity perspective that it's not a one-for-one relationship. There are certain goods that have a steeper slope in the demand curve. So, and a lot of them, what we think about is if they're more life-saving type goods, the higher the price, it really doesn't matter. I still need it because I need to survive. There are some things that you can just say, well, if it goes up 2 or 3%, I can live without something with that. So there are goods that really have that make a difference as far as what we choose to buy and what we choose not to buy. So don't discount the idea that there is not a one-for-one relationship. And I think when I was learning, it was something that was a little difficult for me to get my head around. But I hope that you can understand that. The other thing is when we're talking about consumer surplus and supplier surplus, those are another couple of concepts that we probably don't think about if we're in the outside. So as we are learning about consumer surplus and supplier surplus, let's think about those suppliers, for instance, that if the price is higher than they perhaps would have been able to, what they felt was a good price, they're actually receiving a surplus. I mean, because the equilibrium price is actually higher than what they would have been willing to supply the good for. And conversely, a consumer would have been willing to perhaps pay more than what the equilibrium price is. I mean, it's like going into, again, Dillon's or any other grocery store, for instance, and saying, I'm really hungry for filet mignon, and I'm willing to pay $20 a pound. And I go in there and I see that it's $16 a pound. I go, wow, that's a great deal. I would have been willing to pay $20, going in, but I'm certainly not going to go to the cashier and tell them, I'm buying 2 pounds of filet mignon, and I really want to pay $20 a pound for this because that's what it's worth to me. So that's what consumer surplus really means to us. So, and that might be easier to think about, but also think about it from a supplier perspective, that there are suppliers that were willing to produce the good and provide the good to we as the consumers at a lower price, but they're not going to give away the additional money just because they were willing to do that. So hopefully that helps you understand a little more about consumer surplus and supplier surplus. And again, when I think about elasticity, one of the little things that I thought about is when you think about a demand curve that looks more like this, that's perfectly inelastic. Well, that looks like an I to me. Okay, so inelastic, the more inelastic, the more it looks like an I. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Again, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please continue to email me because I'm here to help you succeed. Thank you.